Good morning, all of you. I am Dr. Syed Anisuddin, Head of the Department Civil Engineering and Dean Research and Development and Consultancy for Lord's College. I am here for the past 2 years. I am dealing with the Civil Engineering Department, the students and staff. Now, this subject today, what we are going to introduce to you is industrial psychology. Industrial psychology has become an integral part of the engineers in the present situation. As an engineer, when he comes out, completes the degree, will be either an employee or an employer. So, under both the circumstances, whether he is an employee or an employer, definitely he needs to read industrial psychology and understand, because an industry has three components. That is, one is employer, employee, and organization. All these three components of the industry, they need to be hand in hand together for the success and productivity of the company. Nowadays, what we have seen is most of the people, they are trying to go for entrepreneurship and develop their own construction industries. And if they are in from mechanical or electronics, they are going for their own industry. And civil engineering students are going for civil construction works. The construction is in boom, so we need to introduce and understand this subject as a mandatory one. That is the reason why Usman University has introduced this subject. It is a privilege to introduce you to industrial psychology, because mostly when an employer employs people, he needs to know one thing, that is, he needs to know the psychology of the person. On the contrary, the employee also has to see and understand the psychology of an employer if he wants to be hand in hand with the organization and try to achieve maximum productivity. Ultimately, the whole thing cracks up to productivity only. So at the end, either employee or employer or the organization looks for the productivity. So that is the reason why I thought I will select this subject and introduce to you. Now, one major component of the industrial psychology is that it's human resource management and its management. I mean, human resource management and managing of the people. Because normally an industry, whether construction or whatever, consists of 5M theory. That is money, manpower, machinery, materials, and management. So these are the 5M theory we say. And all these 5 M's need to be available at all the time, 24/7, for the engineers to move the earth, and as well as to attain certain achievement of the industry, and also development of an employer, development of an employee, and development of an organization. So my lecture will introduce the industrial psychology first, applications of HRM, features of career paths, because career path has become an order of the day, and it is required to tell the employee that where he will be after 5 years. The outline of the lecture starts with the introduction to industrial psychology. What is important, as I already highlighted to you. But only thing is certain issues that we need to see into the industrial psychology, because at the end of the day, as I told you, the productivity is the thing which we will be looking forward to. And all the organizations will be having that, because they want to run down their cash flow as healthy as possible. Applications of HRM, that is the second point. Features of career paths. Career paths, as I have told, that an employee should know where he will be at what stage after 5 years of his service. So that exactly gives him and keeps him motivated all through his service. Training and development, this is a very, very essential element of HRM. Appraisals, definitely the open appraisals should be there. There are various types of appraisals. When it comes to that, I will try to explain to you. And then comes the conclusion. There is an excellent quote given by Steve Jobs. He says that the organizations should not hire smart people and tell them what to do. They should hire smart people so that they can tell us what to do. So that means a right person at the right place, in the right job, in the right organization always matters. Only then the productivity can be increased, because we are all focusing on the productivity itself. Then how does an employee choose a career? First of all, see, he comes out from the college, or he completes the education, he comes out into the market. then immediately he would like to set up his goal in the form of choosing a career. So what are the things that affect or that dictates the person to choose a particular career? The career choices are in different types. First, he will look into the self-image. What image he will be going to get, what social status he is going to get in the society. That is very, very, it matters most to the people, and I'm talking about the educated people. Then comes the personality, what type of personality he will be having and what type of life he will be leading. Then comes the social background, what social background he get, as I said already, the social status. So he needs to know what type of villa he will be having, what type of job he will be having, what type of car he is having, what type of job, the manager or the deputy manager, assistant manager, or what type of that one, and what respect he is going to have in the job. That is what he would like to see. And first, basically it is the interest. When the interest is more, then the productivity is more. Because a person, if he is doing with the interest the job, definitely you can see he is more interested in doing that job perfectly. And that's exactly applies to an employee. What is uniqueness about the HRM? HRM revolves around 4 factors in the world. First one is the psychological factor. What psychology the person has. As I told you already, that employee and employer, they have to understand each other's psychology in order to see that they take the organization forward. Because most of the times there will be a lot of psychological issues, attitude issues, behavior issues, and all that. So we need to know, because just knowing engineering or technology doesn't matter. Of course, he will be good in engineering, design, problems, and all that. But what type of attitude he has, that is also very, very important. What type of teamwork he can lead. This is what it all comes under sociology. Sociology is the human relations. So what type of relations an employee and employer both maintain with the people, clients, and also among themselves. This is what sociology means. Then law, they need to know the laws of the labor. They need to know what type, where it goes wrong, then how an action is to be taken up for corrective measures, and which code they will go, what are the things, because there will be a lot of claims and lot of legal issues that will come into the construction industry and other industries. So employee and employer should be able to know what type of clauses apply to him, what type of law he has to look into. Then economical position, as I told you, economy of the employer, economy of the employee, both matters to the organization. Then comes I'm continuing with that. Economics means it can become considered as the wages also, daily wages, what the persons will go, and market position, market value, whatever he has, and resources that are available. Then psychology is motivation and satisfaction. See, job satisfaction is the one which I will be highlighting at the end. That helps in the output of the employee. Sociology, as I told, it is the cultural behavior, work culture attitude, work culture environment, all these things. And legal law, as I told, labor contracts, labor law. HRM is an art of acquiring motivation. See, if HRM is good, human resource management, from the employer's point of view, then definitely all the employees will be motivated, highly motivated, and will definitely give their mettle to the fullest extent. It is maintaining and developing of people in view of their personal, professional, technical knowledge and skills. The needs and values of the people and the individual organizations, their regulations, then hierarchy, and then job chart, organization chart, and society's goal. So these are some of the things which will be coming under HRM, and they will be encompassed by HRM under that. And these are issues we will be talking about. HRM contributes to employee and employer's performance and support mission and vision of the organization. It is the highest employee productivity, stronger financial results, achieve organization strategic goals, and key players on management team. The most important thing is the productivity here. So ultimately, at the end of the day, when all the people together they come and share their experience and lay down some according to the vision and mission and try to follow the organization chart, the level of hierarchy, they try to develop a product, and that product they want to sell it in the market and then try to get the profits whatever they get. There are a lot of cases that are going on now. For example, take the question of vaccine itself. The raw materials are not available at the moment in India, and they have to be imported. So definitely they should have planned, because the population of India is very high. So they should have been in order, and already there should have been 3-tier system to be followed for procuring the materials, and they could have taken care. But unfortunately, this has happened, and there are like that so many cases I can present. Now, going to the HRM goals, what are the goals that are available? First one is the legislation that occurs in the industry, because one employee cannot go on revolving his stick standing in between the road. He cannot go on rotating his stick, because as Mahatma Gandhi said, his freedom ends where my nose begins. So that means legislation is binding on every employee. So every employee has to abide by the legislation and the law of the country. Trends in the society, there are a lot of trends, as you know. There will be good trends and bad trends. Now we have a very, very bad trend that is going on under the COVID situation, and that is only culminating into havoc because of the COVID. Then international events, then changing technology. As you know, every day the technology is becoming obsolete, and newer technology is coming into the market. You take the example of phones, mobile phones. Every day the technology is changing. Take the question of laptops. So what I mean is, as an employee or as an organization, it has to keep abreast with the technological developments and advent of technology that is happening in the world. Otherwise, it becomes obsolete, and the organization may go bankrupt. Like that, there are so many industries which have happened. They went bankrupt. For example, Nokia. Nokia, you can know, where is Nokia now? Nobody is having a Nokia phone at all. Maybe 20 years back, everyone was having Nokia phone. So where is Nokia now company? That means they have not kept abreast with the technology and innovations in technology, whereas other people have picked up. So if you want to see, there are 3 aspects which I have seen there. They are the goals. First one is the HRM planning. You need to plan human resource management, how you have to do it, how you have to recruit. There are so many processes. From the day one the employee enters to the day he superannuates. Job analysis, he has to be given a job analysis. This is your job, particularly you have to do like this. Forecasting of the job, yes, you will be, after 2 years, you will be going there, 3 years, you are going there, like that. So that means it will be in the form of a flowchart. Recruiting, there is a lot of big process nowadays. So many professional bodies are involved in the recruiting. They are trying to help the organizations to get the best workforce. Selecting of the candidates, definitely it is whoever is fittest, he will survive as per Darwin. So we need to go for a particular successful person having adequate skills. Of course, if you say that if you have taken an employee and he is not up to the mark, maybe after 3 months or after probation, you may see that the employee is not according to what you expected or what you expect. So what you have to do then in that case, you cannot just say employee to go away, because likewise, if you are doing every day, you need to send some employees to their home. Some people has to be boosted. You cannot do that way. So that is the reason why the alternate thing what you have to think is that you try to provide him training and development as per your requirement, as per the organization's requirement. Try to provide him, give him a chance to improve his skills, to improve his knowledge with regard to his job title, with regards to his job. Then definitely, if the person is interested and motivated or self-motivated, he will definitely learn, and he will be definitely giving his best output. Then after a certain period of time, you can go for his appraisal and try to see or compare the earlier one with this one, the new one, and then the manager can take a decision. Now, maintaining an effective force, as I told you already, it is not possible by any organization or any company to have a best force all the 24/7 throughout the year. It is very difficult because nowadays there are a lot of challenges that are in the market. There are so many attractions, and people will just jump in and jump out wherever they find good opportunities and good job wages, good salaries, good benefits, labor relations good. and terminations are low, that means job security is there. People are looking for job security these days because of the reason of COVID, as I told you. There is pandemic situation, so everyone is looking for a job security. The reason is because you can be terminated anytime within this pandemic situation, but if your output is good, if your productivity and whatever you are giving to the company is good, it is to the fullest extent, then you are safe and you will have a job security. Now, the challenges an organization and HR managers face is competency. Number one is the competency, because as I said already, all the people who are recruited, they are not competent on the day one. They cannot be, because they are habituated to do a particular thing in a certain way. But now your organization requires a different type of competency. Then you have to improve upon that employee or that labor or whomsoever, because there will be a lot of challenges in the construction industry. For example, I can give dome construction. Most of it in the Middle East, every house has a dome, and every dome is constructed in a different way. I mean, in a unique way. So for that particular dome, you have to provide training to the skilled labor force. Unless and otherwise you do that, the dome will not be fitted well, and you will have a lot of maintenance problems throughout the life of the building. So you need to attract good workforce. How you will attract? Your only company speaks about it. The manager, if he just does marketing and try to boost, it will not happen. The company will speak about its rules and regulations, and people are able to follow that because of this digital environment they have. Everyone has a hands-on experience on different news and different information available with the company. So that is the reason everyone has it under his hand. The whole information is available within a second. So that is the reason why you have to attract the employees by way of different incentives, labor-intensive methods, and other things. Then, if that employee is not up to your mark, then you need to develop him. So how he will be developing, what is his plan for development, all that you need to explain. You need to manage the workforce. See, managing a workforce is really a headache, but still, as a manager, you have to do it. As an organization, the CEO or COO or somebody who is available, he has to do it. So managing of people also is very much important. Then only the cordial relations will develop, depending upon the psychology of that employee. Retaining our employees, this is becoming a big challenge now for the most of the organizations, because the retaining levels are going down below 30%, 20% like that. Effective workforce, if you get, your company definitely will flourish and then get whatever the targeted productivity and output. So at the time of recruitment, what we'll try to see, an employee we will match with the organization. I mean, what are the organization things required, or skills required, and what skills the employee has. These two we try to match through an interview, either physical or online or whatever, and we'll see his needs, his interests, and his values. Because when we say an employee is entering into an organization, he is entering not alone. He is entering with all his contacts, with all his people, with all his technical know-how, with all his degrees, and with all his experience. So we need to see, because he is having all this, he has some needs. And what are his needs that we need to assess? Interest, what interests he has? He is interested in maybe admin, finance, or maybe construction of beam, he is specialist. Then you try to put him, you try to adjust him there. And what values he has? Value system is a very, very important thing. Each person has a value, but you need to see he needs to have a very good values and good customs and traditions. This will come only with the help of his family and his family background and family exposure. Then coming to the components and issues, employment. What are the employment issues now? Discrimination, because people are treated not in the same way. Either they are discriminated based on their caste, or creed, or sex. These are the three major things that will happen. But this employee, when he is discriminated, he will be feeling very bad and his morale will go down. And I can give my own example. When I was explaining in a conference in Spain, there were a lot of Germany people and UK Britishers. When they see an Indian accent, Asian accent, they just walk out. And when somebody from Germany or somebody from Europe will be delivering a lecture, they are all in into the seminar. That means, how does a speaker, when I myself as a speaker, when I'm a brown skin person, Asian. When I'm giving, because of my accent, they went away. They gone out. So how does the speaker will be able to maintain his moral? He cannot. That is the reason what I have seen myself. I am telling. People say there is no discrimination in the world, but it is all humbug. It is all hypocrisy. So these are some of the employers' issue. Equal employment opportunity. This is also is told everywhere in UK and elsewhere in other countries that all are given equal employment opportunities, but it is not so. From this platform, I can say that there is a lot of discrimination that is going on. Exploitation of people. Mostly exploitation happens at the lower levels, but also in most of the places elsewhere abroad, exploitation is still there, and people try to take out the certificates, they try to take away the passport, and they keep in their custody, and they try to do a lot of exploitation. Affirmative action, a lot of negative things happen when you apply for the leave, when you want to have some benefits, incentives and all that. Occupational HSC, see in foreign countries, again, there will be a lot of occupational hazards that are going on. I mean, every 3 months you need to have an occupational audit. But unfortunately in India, we don't come across this audit at all. So occupational audit, I mean, with respect to his lighting, with respect to his temperature, with respect to his furniture, with respect to his computer and computer chair, all these things need to be seen. Because in absence of these things, there will be lack of oxygen, more of carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, there are a lot of breathing troubles, asthma and all these things will come. So for an employee, you have to make him more comfortable in his office space. That is what the international standards say, and they do audit for every 3 months. But in India, it is missing. Then when compared to the HRM components, as I told you, the process starts from advertisement, recruitment, selection, induction and orientation. Induction, normally there will be a training plan, a training period. During that time, the employee is given an induction to the organization and induction to his job. Mostly if you see foreign countries, petroleum development, PDOs, they try to be concentrating more on induction, on health and safety, than the competency with regard to engineering, because they feel that the person is more important than the engineering. Training and professional development, this is also is going on, and many times because the training will be given adequately, then only he will be commissioned into the job. This happens in all foreign countries. Before you enter into your job, you are given the training and induction. Performance appraisal and management. Now, when comes to the performance appraisal, in India still we have a point system appraisal. That is at the end of semester or at the end of 3 months or 6 months. There will be on one instant your appraisal is being taken. But in foreign countries nowadays, it is continuous appraisal. It is not a point appraisal, not a spot appraisal. Spot appraisal is dangerous because on that particular day you may be good or bad. It is just like taking an exam. After 6 months, you are conducting a final exam for one subject. Maybe that day, if you are sick, if you are not well, your paper will be bad. So there should not be any spot evaluation, spot appraisal. The appraisal should be throughout continuous from the day one, and the persons in charge, whoever is line managers, they need to address, and they try to address the employee and try to correct him time to time. Career development, this is very important because higher studies comes under this, training will comes under this, internships will come, and also the PhDs or whatever, when you are going outside abroad or different conferences where you go, you try to meet people, exchange ideas and come back with a lot of fresh ideas to your company. Quality of work life is very important because work life should aim on quality. Unless and otherwise you do that, your product will not speak about itself. Then comes the retention and turnover. Try to do retention as much as possible. Turnover, you should be away from that and try to do job rotation so that the person will be very much interested in learning different jobs. Then other HRM issues will be, as I said, it is the hygiene factors. Hygiene factors will health and safety, I said. Job environment. Job environment should be always not competitive, but complementary. So two employees, when they are working in the same organization, sitting side by side, they should never be competent to each other. They should be complementary to each other. Then only you get maximum productivity. So job environment and the culture of the environment, the culture of the job. That is very, very important. So when this environment is very good, cordial, friendly, then definitely the work output will be more. All people will be happy, all the employees are happy. Salary and job security, as you know, nowadays, four-figure salary at least is a must in every organization because the demands have gone up. The life has become very costly. So the salary structures should be adequate and commensurate with the qualification and experience of an employee. Job security, as I told you, at least there should be 3 years of job. An employee staying in a particular organization for 3 years or more than 5 years, he will become a residue. This is some of the elderly people they have told. So we should not become residue to a particular organization, but we need to check where we can make ourselves more useful and more approachable. Personal life, work-life balance has to be there always, as I told you, because nowadays most of the companies, they are trying to disfigure work-life balance. So at home you will be spending less time, and at offices you are spending more time. So there is no work-life balance. Because of this reason, there are so many social issues that are coming into the market, and there are so many health problems that are coming. So work-life balance has to be taken care. Working conditions, cordial working conditions, I told you, friendly working condition, and complementary working condition has to come into play. Status, yes, the person has to be given his due respect and due status, not only in the organization but also in the society. Interpersonal relationships, yeah, here it comes the psychology, where interpersonal relationships will develop only based on the psychology. So once we understand the psychology properly of an employee and employer, they can be best at developing interpersonal relationships between them and good relations. This is always advisable and it is required. There should be an effective supervision. The line manager has to be very, very cooperative, very friendly with the employees, and try to take care of their shortcomings and try to guide them properly because he is at a higher level, and try to see that all the employees do their work, and try to give, as soon as they come to the job in the morning, at least a toolbox talk. TV say toolbox talk. Give them what is to be done today and what is the nature of work, what hazards there are. If they say all this, then it will be very good. And they are also can be displayed in the form of charts. Motivator. What are the motivations? Achievement, of course. When a person is being given achievement, he is given an incentive, he is given a bonus. His job is been recognized, his achievements are been recognized and due compensated. Definitely the employee will feel that he is cared by the management and cared by the employer. Recognition, as I told you, there will be a lot of things are going on in this direction, like employee of the month and employee of the year. Like that, there are so many things where they recognize and they give some rewards. Advancement, yes, advancement should be there because nowadays we need a lot of advances, maybe for house purchase or maybe even in foreign countries they take a loan for marriage. So their advancement has to be given, advances has to be given to them, one advance by the bank. Otherwise they cannot marry or they cannot study. Type of job itself will be motivating for an employee. Suppose if I take my job as a personal thing and very much interested to me, then definitely I will be more interested, more motivated. If I am more motivated, then I will try to avoid accidents. Please remember that whenever the person becomes motivated and does his work, he is more cautious and a lot of accidents are being avoided. Growth opportunities, yes, there will be a lot of growth opportunities. A estate manager can become manager, a manager can become a CEO. Then comes the responsibility along with the growth opportunities. Responsibility should be always showered by the employee as well as the employer in an organization, because these two people are very, very important and they both are dealing with the clients. Most of the clients, they want to ask the employer and employee to take their responsibility and do the work perfectly. You need to explain what is the different career stages. Suppose a person is joining at the age group of 20 years, 30 to 40 years and plus 30 years and then 60 to 70 years. These are stages that are called to be early career, mid career, late career and end of the career. So first career in the age group of 20, the person will be looking for what will be his needs. Needs will be as the first thing is job itself. Whatever job it comes, he will try to accept. and then he will try to enter into that, take some training or whatever, and then he is more concerned about his growth. Then by the time it comes to 30 to 40, he will be start settling down in the job. So that time he will not be more enthusiastic to jump company to company or organization to organization, but he would like to settle down and then start getting married and go for family and all this. So 40 to plus 50, for example, he will try to go for a different jobs where he has already acquired certain skills and also some knowledge, degrees and all that. He is no more interested in at least getting further education, further skills and all that, because he is more perfect now, he feels, and then he will be trying to check for different higher positions where he can dictate or where he can guide certain workforce. 60 to 70, he is trying to prepare himself for the pension or retired life. So there also, but people, because 60 to 70, it's only all this whatever I have told is just being a number. So we should not see that 60 to 70 means we are already retired and gone through the life and everything is over. Some people have started, like for example, McDonald, he has started his life after 60 years. So like that, there are so many challenging people in the world who have started their life after 70 years. I mean, they got success after 70 years. So this is what I wanted to bring. If you follow this chart, it is very, very useful to young employees, where what they want, what are their needs, and what are their concerns at a particular stage of life. They have to very clearly take into action and implement in their lives so that they can do and achieve the necessary things what they want to. Then comes the basic building blocks of HRM. Human resource management revolves around some of the issues concentrating to HRM are discussed in detail in this. That is job analysis. See, a person when enters in a job, he should be given a particular analysis of his job. I mean, what he is supposed to do. Most of the times it happens in many of the Asian countries that we don't give any job description or we don't analyze the job. We simply say, okay, we are hiring you as a foreman, you come and join as a civil engineer. But we don't say specifically what you are supposed to look into. So job analysis has to be done by an employer and keep it ready before the employee comes. Once the employee comes, you need to prepare it, culminate that into a job description and give it to the person so that it is very clearly defined for him what he is supposed to do and what he is not supposed to do. So job description is a must for each and every post. Unless you give job description, the productivity will not be increased. The cash flow never increases in your organization. Now, job description hand in hand should follow career path. Career path is the thing which you have to give as a career ladder, which I will be explaining more in detail in the next slides, because based on the career path, the person will be planning his life. See, from assistant manager, he wants to become a manager in next 3 years. That means within these 3 years, he need to accrue the responsibilities of a manager, the roles, and what are the skills that are required, how to manage people. This at least one course he has to do. That comes under career path. So career path is nothing but a diagram with respect to time. I mean your experience, your number of years with respect to time. So every time, every next year, where you will be, what you will be doing. That structure of pay. Structure of pay has to be transparent. Many again in Asian countries and also abroad I have seen that the scales that are given to people is not transparent. One person will be getting some salary and other person will be getting some other salary unless we follow the scale system. Most of the places scales are not followed, government scales are not followed. So there is no transparency between the structure of pay. If there is no transparency, then there will be a lot of heartburns between the employees. All employees will be under heartburn. Maybe he's getting more, I am doing more work like that. There will be a lot of cases I have seen like this. Then DNA, training needs analysis. As soon as the person becomes, he is promoted and gets a promotion, definitely you need to conduct a training needs analysis. In most of the countries outside, they do training needs analysis. There are so many companies giving that KLNG, and there are so many professional companies who come and do or conduct training needs analysis for all your employees in your workplace. They try to prepare a report and they submit. Each person, what training he needs, what should be skills he has to develop. All these things they try to do it and they try to submit. After you give training, definitely you are right, employers right, to definitely do performance appraisal. If the person is not fit even then, after TNA also, then you can try to see that you can do away with that workforce or change the job or do something. Then feedback and recontract, always in the foreign countries there is a feedback, and based on the feedback there is a recontract. But unfortunately in our government offices here, there is no feedback. Even if feedback is there, there is no recontract. I mean, once he joined means he is permanent employee throughout his life till he retire. These things are not followed in other countries where you will get pension and you have to be continuing one particular service. That is the reason why they give 2 years or 3 years contract only. Once they get the feedback through proper means, they try to ask the employee whether he wants to continue or not. It is a mutual recontract, so they try to do it. That way, the employer and the employee will be on the toes. But here in our government offices, what happens? Everyone knows. People just they come as they want because they are confirmed and they are very much sure that they cannot be terminated at all. There is no recontract business in government offices. Then comes the analysis, as I told, job analysis. You have to do the analysis based on the education, qualification of an employee who is entering as an employee in your organization, whom you have been employed. And then what are the specific tasks to be given and what are the responsibilities, abilities, skills and qualifications. All these things you need to make it beforehand only. And don't try to employ a person who doesn't have all these proper skills and all that to a particular job, because he will be a misfit there. You will not get your productivity and later he will become a headache to your organization. So don't try to do that way. Try to take a right person at the right time, as I said to you. So just filling the jobs is not the case. Don't try to fill it, because whomsoever is available or whomsoever is taking a less salary, you can fill it, the job with him. But in the later run, during the course of the time, he may not be useful at all to you. Description is prescribed to the employee beforehand. The reason is because you are trying to mentally prepare the employee. So he should know right number of qualified people in right job at right time. Descriptions professionally are not structured. So description has to be structured. It has to be given in a tabular form or in a flow chart, and then for the right person whom you have employed, you have to give. Then comes the job design. As I said, all the jobs has to be designed. It is like a structural design. Beam or column you are designing, slab you are designing. The same way you try to design the job. Most of the places it doesn't happen, but nowadays in the foreign countries there are a lot of third-party consultants who design the job for you, who make the job description, who make you the career path and conduct ENA. These are a lot of manpower companies which have come now, but unfortunately in India again we are not following this system. We have to develop job design, and in the design we need to tell the employee what he has to do, the specific jobs he has to do, what is his purview, what is his do's and don'ts and all that. Appropriate assignment of employees results in effective and efficient workforce, because as I told you, when the employees become effective and efficient workforce, only then your productivity and your profit margin increases. That is the reason why a proper assignment has to be given to the employee, very, very specific. Then what is the challenge here? Ad hoc assignments and ad hoc job rotation and ad hoc job duties. Suddenly today you come to the office, you are told that, okay, you do this job, you do this job. This happens in many places. One person is taken to be as a jack of all, master of all, but is jack of none. So you have to be understood. You need to know that this person is not able to do finance job, but you are allowing him a finance job, for example. As soon as in the morning, the employee comes, you are asking him to do this job, a particular job, for which he is not ready. So if it is not in the design, in his job design and not in his purview, then he will not be able to do, because he doesn't have any relevant experience and relevant qualification. So that is the reason, this is what a big challenge we have. Ad hoc assignments should be avoided all. Then we go on to the career path. As I told, it is in Arabic, that is called Masar Wazifi. This is very, very important in the world, as I told you, and it plays a major role in an employee's life, because this will be giving rise to where the employee will be with a certain period of time. Career path, the way that an employee progresses in his or her work in the profession. That is very important. In an organization, where what positions he will be going on getting throughout his life. A clear career path always guides the employee in a proper way, and definitely it will give him the positions that are required. This is based on knowledge, skill, personal characteristics. Major thing is the knowledge and the experience he has. Because depending on that only, they can be made and the employee can progress depending upon his career and depending upon his education qualifications and experience. And time to time, with what competitiveness he will be able to satisfy and content the organization, that also depends on the career path. Now, I will show you various representations of the career path. This is with respect to the organization and individual. What are the things that are needed in this? As I already told broadly, that based on the organization, they require the competitiveness of an employee, and for the employee, it will be his qualification and his experience and the skills what he has. So all these things will be useful to the organization, and definitely it will appear in your career path. The process of career path, qualification, as I told, major functions and duties what he will be doing. But the challenge what we are facing is career paths are not given to the employees at the time of engagement. That is very, very important. And in many places they are not done, but nowadays there is a lot of awareness on career path throughout the world. And people in Europe, UK and Gulf, they are trying to give career path as soon as the day the employee joins. Because the reason is, it becomes a passport. I mean, in the form of a passport, you have a passport book, isn't it? Career path can be given in the form of a passport. Whenever the person is having the passport, whenever he completes a particular skill or a course or a knowledge-based training, he can be attested in the passport. The reason why I am telling is, wherever the person goes, tomorrow he wants to change the employer, the organization, then he can easily do it by showing his passport. He can go to the other organization and show these are all what I have achieved. So in the passport, every time it need to be attested. Once it is attested, then it will be always belongs to the employee. It becomes like a treasure for him. And later, as we come to know how the different representations I have given for career path, there can be a graph, there can be a table, there can be a bar chart, there can be anything depending upon the time. So always the x-axis will be the time. This is also another form of based on the education. That is, after you finish BTech, you will get this job. After you finish MTech, you will be given 2 increments if it is in government. If you complete PhD, you will be given 5 increments like that. So this is all with respect to the time, where the positions will be and where he will be going. So career paths, whatever it is in the form, he has to do it. The employer has to give, the organization has to give or provide a career path to his employee. Each employee, the career path can be defined, because depending upon his experience and depending upon his qualification and skills. And also depending upon, because some employees will be very fast and very good in doing their work. Some employees will be slow, sluggish and all that. So same career path cannot be given. Of course, if both of them they are doing the same post, career path can be same. But still, the person who is very active, he will try to jump and get the posts that are been lying there for him immediately when compared to the person who is very slow. So career path can be same, what I mean to say. Then DNA, that is the training needs analysis, whatever it is done, it is job related skill to assess what the person needs, to assess what the person lacks, and to assess what the person should undertake. So this is try to be reinforced with the help of a training, 3 months, 6 months like that. A training has to be arranged in a relevant company or relevant organization for a particular employee to improve his skills where he is lacking into. Then only you can say that the employee can be more useful and you can extract more work from him. Of course, this can happen also within the organization with the help of mentoring and counseling. Lot of things depends on the mentoring and counseling. So whoever is here, whoever is the manager, whoever is line managers, they need to mentor and counsel the younger ones so that they can be turned into effective workforce. DNA is costly, or mostly is not carried out in many places, as I said, because it is a costly affair. But still, nowadays there is a lot of awareness on that, and lot of KPMG is one of the company which is giving a lot of DNA analysis to many of the public sector organizations, and they are doing very good in this job. Then training and versus development, as I told you, there are two things which will come into an employee's life. One is training and the other one is development. So training is a formal thing which that is given by an organization, that is given in a classified cultural classroom, or maybe orthodox classroom, online or through computer or whatever. But development is self-development. I mean, people, most of them, they are born to be managers, not leaders. So we need to identify who are the leaders and who are the managers here. The leaders can be used for developing the managers, because managers are made, leaders are born. So this is what we need to understand and then try to see. Then means of learning, there are so many, as I told you, different types: external learning, there is a team learning, there is a orthodox learning, there is a classroom teaching, there is an individual learning, prometric centers, all these things there. Many are there. And going to different universities, learning from them, individual development plans you can have, and you can even ask for your organization the job rotation. Because job rotation also will teach you, will make you learn certain different aspects. Then comes the structure of pay. As I told you, it should be transparent and it should be commensurate with respect to his job, with respect to his qualification, with respect to his scale, and with respect to his number of years of experience. If this is maintained properly, then definitely all the employees will be happy in an organization, because each one has to know his and also his colleagues' structure of pay, because that will help him mentally balanced and don't get him stressed and will not go into depression. This is of course a track, already a proved thing which I am telling in the world. This is already proven by many people that job rotation and then transparency in pay will help people. Then performance appraisals, as I told, nowadays there are self-appraisals, peer appraisals, 360 degrees appraisals, cross appraisals. There are so many things people are following. Then so many assessment procedures, so many analysis and impact analysis and all that is carried out for respect to the performance appraisals. But mainly thing is that if the person is dedicated and sincere to himself, then there is no need of appraisal, as I said, and there should not be any spot appraisal. That is the reason why I am trying to introduce human resource management. It is throughout the service of a person. It should be not on one particular day. It should be throughout since the day he joins. Then going to the performance appraisal, still the negative aspect of performance appraisal is that when his appraisal is not good, the employee gets demotivated. Number one, he goes under depression. He feels that he is bad and he will not be able to do that. So there are some advantages and also there are some negative points of performance appraisal. But if performance appraisal is done uniformly across for all the employees on the same basis and on the same scale, then there will not be any heartburns. But we see that many times that most of the managers do performance appraisal in a different way for different people. Liking somebody is not liking somebody, liking based on the region from where he comes, based on the caste, based on the creed, and based on the sex. This should not be followed in many organizations, because that will not keep the employees motivated at all. So he will be thinking that how he has to improve, that he will forget and he will go under depression or demotivation. So a manager can take care of this and then try to see that he will encourage the people, motivate the people, give some positive feedback, and then try to say that there are some lacuna in his performance or weak points which can be there. He can summarize in a beautiful way. If you feel that it has to be done, if you follow Toastmasters Club, the negative feedback is given in a very, very, very beautiful way, in a flowery way, in an ornate way. The reason is because they don't want the Toastmaster members to feel bad about themselves. So this is what it is practiced. So if you introduce this Toastmasters way of representing the feedbacks, then it will gain a lot and it will be definitely having an impact on all the employees. Positive side. Feedback, as I told already, it has to be given in a proper way, in the proper direction, and with the proper wordings and all that. Because ultimately the feedback will help the employee to go for a recontract. So recontract is in between employee and employer with mutual interest, but still the feedback plays a major role. Face-to-face meetings are good. Suppose if you get a feedback, there is an issue with a lot of companies and organizations that they don't face the employee. They feel as if they have done something wrong by taking the feedback of an employee. So they will not have a guts to bring the employee face to face and talk with him, analyze him. They don't do it. So as I say, in HRM, you have to bring the employee face to face, make him sit comfortably, and explain to him about his positive points and negative points, and then try to ask him to find some solutions. Or the employee himself can suggest certain issues, some certain solutions to the improvement, and try to provide some training and placement for enhancing the work experience of the employees. This can be done easily with an open heart and with a clear mind and with transparency. Now, line managers normally, why I put this slide is because in HRM, most of the time, as I said just now, line managers are partial and they do it on they don't consider all the employees in the same way, and they don't consider all the employees on the same platform. So they try to follow in a different dubious techniques and also bias techniques, and they try to do it, and they try to analyze the people and get the feedback in a different way. For some people whom they don't like, they don't try to encourage. See, the major role is played by the line manager in the success or failure of an employee. So a line manager can definitely extract the maximum from a particular employee the way he wants. If he likes the person, he tries to do that, he tries to motivate him, he tries to encourage that employee and try to get maximum out of him. But many times we have seen that the line managers, they themselves are not that adequate with their knowledge, experience and skills, and they try to exploit and they try to be responsible for the employee's failure. So this slide particularly, I wanted to give some lessons to the management based on the needs and culture and based on the needs of the employees. So that is the reason why I brought this slide. Line managers, first of all, should be competent enough. They respect the employees, they respect their experience and exposure, and they try to see and get ideas and openly discuss and try to have some brainstorming sessions with the qualified employees, and they try to find out solutions, because as you know, in many of the organizations, there are so many problems day in and day out, they keep cropping, and these problems need only thinking of a different types of brains put together, not only one brain. So managements, they need a lot of brainstorming sessions and also a fitter solutions for certain problems. This happens only when the line managers are well experienced and well qualified and well educated. This has to be done. For example, dome construction, as I said, if the line manager himself doesn't know how to erect a dome or how to go for a dome construction or a different type of technique that is used for dome construction, then he will not be able to extract perfectly from their employees. So he should be able to do that. He should be able to mentor the employees. He should counsel them, show the method, tell the technique, how it has to be done, and later he, along with the employees, should be able to do the job successfully. So this depends on the management, how it takes. So that is what I would like to proceed further. And at the fag end, I say loyal employees are assets, as I said, definitely not liabilities. So make the loyal employees an asset to the organization by help of keeping them motivated and keeping them always encouraged. Then you will see your company will be reaching different heights and the profit margins will go up, the cash flows will be very healthy. Unless and otherwise you make them assets, if they think that they are liabilities, then always it is a headache for you and for them. It is a tension for you, for the company, and also for the employees. So they will not be able to give their best 100%, and you will not be able to extract the work and meet the targets as you want. So this is what I am trying to say. So make the employees as assets, definitely, and try to see that the system develops in an organization which will be more productive and more useful to the employees' point of view. I don't mean to say that employees only should be able to get this. Employees also, with their psychology, they need to understand the employer properly and then address to them and bring forth openly and very positively the issues and problems they are facing to the managements and organizations or to the CEO or manager, and try to get them solved. Of course, there will be a lot of discussion that can happen, brainstorming session, as I told, it can happen. And then only the managements can understand what is what and a suitable solution, an adequate solution, a comfortable solution with the convenience of the employees can be done. Please remember that if the employees are at ease and comfortable at the workplace, definitely that organization will be achieving the highest laurels, conspicuous laurels in the society and in the world. That is what I would like to say, and thank you all the people for listening to me patiently and bearing me. Thank you very much. All the best.